Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Baba.
We are live now. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Kí ló dé sí eléyìí dà?
Hello, my name is Ladiran Akintola. We're looking at the issue of security across Africa. There is need for government to look at the issue of terrorism properly. I want you to write. Hello, my name is Ladiran. Thank you so much. I have to sincerely apologize. I had a bit of a technical, challenges, and I've been trying to battle with it with the little knowledge of computer that I know. So please, I apologize for the challenges. Sincerely apologize. Thank you so much for joining us live. We are live right now, and I want to thank my guests who have been patiently waiting for me. And I know that Mr. Bajide is back on. Pastor Samuel is back on. Barrister is with me. Thank you so much, Barrister, for joining us today. I really, really appreciate you, and I'm not going to waste your time. Thank you so much, Pastor, for joining us. And again, I have to thank my good brother Babajide for joining us live. So let's go straight into the discussion today. Let's kill it. Now, you've all heard what is happening in Nigeria. As we speak, the Southwest governors have come together and they said, you know what? We want the president to come from the South. The president must come from the South, and that has caused a lot of conversation and discussion. So let me start with Pastor Samuel. What is your view of the discussion from the Southwest governors, and what will be your takeaway from it? Do you think this is possible? Do you think they're just blowing hot balloon, if that's the word that is used technically in the political arena? What is your view on that?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lodo. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are watching us from. And of course, my fellow contributors here, my barrister there, and my other brother. As per the Southern Governor's demand for the presidency come 2023 to come from Southern Nigeria, well, I think constitutionally there's nothing like that in our constitution. However, when it comes to political permutations, I think people could try to work things out, in their own way. Remember that both in the PDP in the past, and it's also been claimed in the APC at some point, that they had a sort of a gentleman agreement within the party to have like a sort of a rotational presidency, where if it goes to the north this time, then the next one goes to the south. However, I don't think that demand itself will be able to accommodate all the geopolitical zones that we have in Nigeria at the moment. So, because obviously when you have somebody from the south, then maybe somebody from the south will say that, oh, we've never been given chance to be president, or somebody from the southeast, and it goes on and on like that. So I think it's just part of political permutations ahead of 2023, which if we look at the number of voters of both sides, we've always been saying that the North only need a little bit of vote from the Southwest, Southeast, South, and co. Because as it stands now, the North has majority of registered voters as claimed and as they are shown continuously in elections in Nigeria. So yeah, they made that demand, but will the North budge if the North is claiming, because there's a section of from the North that is saying that we've not completed our own term, that we need another 4 years to balance up. So I don't think that the North will just give that presidency just like that because the Southern governors are asking for it. There might be other things that they have to consider within their own party before conceding presidency to a Southern person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I can see that is the view. What is the view of Mr. Babajide on this matter? You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm happy to be here.
Good afternoon.
Round table conference, I would say. Based on what we've seen and what has been happening in the past, and there's this sort of history whereby the rotational, how would I put it? There's been part of Nigerian history whereby the presidencies goes around the geopolitical zone. And now for a particular section or a particular region saying that it must be a joke if the Southerners won, if they think that the presidency will come to the South. And according to Governor of Oyo State, that's Governor Akintola, he has made it clear that all the Southern governors have already agreed that the presidency must come to the South. And he also made it clear when he was interviewed by Kebaloye on Friday, or yesterday, he made it so clear that there's no going back on that. And I think a majority of Nigerians who want, and even politicians would rather want the presidency to come to the South. Whether the North likes it, it now depends. But at the end of the day, in as much as it is not in our constitution for any sort of rotation, but it has been sort of like what the pastor said, it has been like an agreement, a gentleman's agreement between the politician to say, not to rotate this presidency, not to cause havoc. And now, if we must look at things as we speak, some Nigerians might say that yes, the president should go to the southeast, but as long as it's going to the south, that's what the southern governors are particular about. And and he also mentioned that the party should not make a mistake of building another one, because that would be collapse, the real collapse of the party. He has made it clear that I think there shouldn't be any. I guess some northern politicians are already making some comments throughout last week that the Southerners just should forget about the presidency ticket. How it's going to turn out, we shall see. It's too early to debate and start worrying ourselves. We shall see by end of this year to early next year, the politicking will start fully. I can guarantee that. But I'm sure it's going to the South. They've done their own time, but it's going to the South. That's what I would say. Thank you. Mr. Oludo.
Apologies. So let me go to the politician in our midst, because I know, sir, that you only deal in facts and numbers. And I've got some numbers that I want to roll out, because this thing, whether we like it or not, is going to boil down to the numbers, sir. And that's why I said, let me come to you last, rather than come to you first, because you've heard what my other panelists have talked about. But even with all the argument and the agitations in the Southeast, as far back as with regard to the last election, which is 2019 presidential election, the Southeast only has 11,289,293 votes, which represent just 13.44% of the vote. Nobody has ever become president in Nigeria without having a solid 27 million or 29 or something like that. Yeah. And we know that with all the voting that have ever taken place in Nigeria, even though we have up to 84 million or 48 million registered voters, they've never been more than 35% of them that have ever voted. Only during Obasanjo that 34 million voted. Everything have always been down to maybe 28 million, 29 million. So when these governors in the South gather themselves together and started saying, we want the vote, we want the vote. So people have shown, political scientists like me have shown, that combine the 16 million votes from the South and combine it with the 11 million from the East, taking into consideration that some of them will still vote APC, some of them will still vote PDP. They are not like the Northerners where they say go, and all of them will just go to one place. South, we are so dubious. We are dubious. Not all of us. Some of us are so dubious that at the last minute we will change our vote.
Yeah.
500 plus days to go. Do you think that even the combination of the Southwest vote, middle belt vote, and even the Southeast vote, we can deliver the South, we can deliver the vote for the South president without the North vote?
I will say categorically. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you.
And I have to thank my fellow panelists again for coming in. Just before I go forward, I couldn't hear my learned brother that spoke earlier. I think we seem to be having issues with him every time he comes around. Maybe you should look into that. Okay, every time he talks, we can barely hear him. So
okay,
yeah, let's
it will speak. Okay, speak more to the speaker. Okay.
Yeah. So I think my simple answer to what you just said now would be no. And I'm not just talking about Southeast and Southwest alone. Even the North on its own cannot win. We saw that happen with Buhari in the 3 successive elections that he lost before he now reached out to the southern electorates.
Yes.
I think Nigeria is such a unique country where unless you understand the dynamics of the country, if that's why for me, I would never, even though I'm a Yoruba man, I would never subscribe to any ethnic sentiment because of the uniqueness of the country and the fact that what seems to be our difference is what makes us unique. So for me, I would say a categorical no to that, to either side of the divide. Any of the divide in Nigeria that thinks they can go it alone, they are just living in cuckoo land. Like my learned pastor said earlier on, that some people in the North are mouthing off and saying that they want to complete some term and all that nonsense. For me, I wouldn't give them the light of day. The reason I say that is because I'm privy to certain things that's going on in the North. Trust me, Jagaban has more supporters in the North than he has in Yoruba land. Quote me any day. Because as early as early last year, some powers that be in the North has been reaching out to people in diaspora, especially seeking for support for Jagaban. For no simple reason other than the fact that they understand that if not for him, Buhari wouldn't have won in 2015. So to all these people, it's like payback time now. So if you have some renegades from the north mouthing of this, you see, I want us to always have one thing in mind, that in a situation where an election is imminent like this, a lot of people who perhaps maybe because during the course of this period now has been out of recognition. They want to come out now and raise some doubt and raise some dust, yeah, and make them and to make themselves relevant. So that is why you hear all this noise all over the place that the North wants to complete. I don't know what time they're talking about. If Buhari is spending 80 years, what other times are they talking about? Because as far as I'm concerned, they've had their own fair share of the presidency. So this time around, it's like the pastor said earlier on, zoning is not in our constitution. Everybody knows that. But then it does exist within our polity. It does exist simply because the politicians themselves know that for democracy to become germane in this country and for us to sustain it, there has to be some kind of gentleman agreement from both sides of the divide, in order to bring about equity, fairness, and justice. That's what brought about this zoning formula. And trust me, if you cast your mind back to 2015, nobody thought that Buhari would have won the primaries in APC. I was rooting for Kwankwaso at the time, and we did a lot of groundwork for him because he was a sure bet, and we were hell bent that he was going to win. We were saying on a worst case scenario, perhaps maybe Atiku will win. Nobody ever thought that Buhari would win. But the only reason why Buhari really won was down to Jagaban. And the powers that be in the north knows that. So for me, I wouldn't those rabble rousers in the north talking nonsense now. To me, I just see them as people seeking for relevance. I wouldn't count them as anything. As far as we're concerned, the power is shifting to the south, whether they like it or not. What we don't know is where it is going, southwest or southeast. I'm just saying that tongue in cheek anyway, because we all know that the southeast has not been playing politics the way it should be played, because they have remained resolute behind, if you like, dead horse. And they don't seem to be reaching out to other people, despite the fact that their region has the least number of population. If there is the need for any part of Nigeria to reach out and to form strong alignment with the other part of the country, it is the southeast. But it is unfortunate that they are playing politics of encampment. As far as they're concerned, they are cocooned in their own little world, and they see themselves as the best thing since sliced bread. So that is why they are in the situation they are now. But whether we like it or not, like I said, the power is shifting to the south. Whether some renegades in the north like it or not, that is if they want Nigeria to remain, that is what it's going to be. So as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure of what I'm saying now, because I know a lot of people from the north, the real movers and shakers are all rooting for Jagaban. So for me, it's shifted to the south. So I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yes, you've answered my question, sir, and it's good that at least across the panel, even though we have different views and analysis of the subject matter, we know it's still coming to the south. What is important now is the politics of number and how we do it. But before we go further, let me ask you this question, sir, and then I will ask Pastor, and then I will ask Mr. Babajide. There is an argument now that is flowing across the federal capital and within the cycle that although, yes, there is the discussion about Jagaban, but there is an anointed man that is already waiting on the tarmac or to take off, and that is President Goodluck Jonathan, and there's likelihood that he is the one that is going to be presented by APC, is going to be sucked into APC in order for him to become the next president, taking it to the south rather than the southeast. What is your view on that, sir? Let me ask you, and then I'll go to Pastor.
I'm not sure how some people came to that realization, or under what constitutional provision are they talking about? Because as far as I know, Goodluck Jonathan has been sworn in twice. He was sworn in as acting president, and he was there for 2 years before he now won another election, and he was sworn in again. So I'm not sure where
I thought, sir, that the constitution is that you cannot do more than 2 terms at any given time. But once you've had a break in between, you can come back, which is why Fayose was able to come back at the others.
No. Fayose only spent one term, okay, the last term, and that was why he came back the second term. The constitution is very clear: only 2 terms. End of story. So, by the fact that Jonathan has been sworn in twice, whether at the first instance he was completing somebody else's term does not matter. The fact is he has been sworn in twice. Okay. So for me, he may join APC because he's got his fundamental right to associate with any party that he likes. That I can't deny him that. But for anybody to be computing or insinuating that he's going to be made, I mean, all the guys that have been in APC all these years, why do you want them? Unless you want to scatter the whole party, how would somebody who just came in at the 11th hour, I just want to give him the ticket? It's not done anywhere.
Okay, let me go to Pastor. Pastor, what is your view on that? Do you think Jonathan has a good chance? They said his movement, his body language with Mr. President, the fact that Mr. President can trust him with a lot of things, and it looks as if he might be the person that they can trust because he has shown himself to be trustworthy to the party. He didn't behave the way other people behaved after leaving. He wasn't involved in bitterness. He respected the president. He did, and some people are vouching that it looks as if he's the one that the South might even put down to stand and complete the post that Buhari did not allow him to complete. What's your view on that?
Well, I don't think, anything could happen, but I don't think former President Goodluck Jonathan will go and join APC for the purpose of contesting the next election. If he joins APC for that election, there's the likelihood he will not be elected, and he will destroy his record completely. When you look at his record with the current government, I mean, people can obviously put them side by side and compare and contrast and say, well, I mean, his government was better. So I don't know on what basis he will want to go back and not going back on the party he was before and then going to the opposition party to compete. So I don't see that happening. Just to also mention something that my barrister said, I mean, he knows more about the law, but I was just going to ask that after being sworn in twice, former President Goodluck Jonathan contested the last election. I mean, that's the 2015, and it was not nullified. I mean, it was allowed to contest. If he had won, would that have become a third term, or would it be considered as the completion of the other one it took on from late former President Yaradua?
Well, I've been asking myself the same question too since then, because I wasn't expecting him to be allowed to contest. But then, it's like we said earlier on, in Nigerian politics, anything can happen. There are so many juxtapositioning that goes on. Sometimes it makes us believe how people sometimes just maybe they throw their brains into the dustbin sometimes and do certain things. I don't know. But as far as this dispensation is concerned, it's like you rightly said earlier on, it will be a political harakiri for him to say, one, he wants to join APC, then two, to say he wants to contest, because that will be hell to pay, because a lot of people have been supporting this party for the past 6 years, and I mean, you can see what has been happening since a few days ago when what's his name, Femi,
yeah.
He's not been having it easy, and rightly so, because the thing is, you cannot, you see, I don't mind if somebody who has a political advantage joins. Fine, but tell me what advantage has this guy got? None. If anything, he's famous for being infamous.
Yes.
So I don't want to go into that because I'm going to get nasty about it. So let's just drop it.
No, there's something I learned from my dad, who was highly involved in election tribunals in the early 90s. And one of the secrets I learned from him was that there are times when you know that your opposition do not have certain things, and you allow him, because he defended a lot of, he went to tribunal on a lot of cases, and they will even allow, politicians will allow, when certain people are standing against them, politicians will allow them to stand against them, with the hope that if they win against them, they will be able to overturn it in the tribunal, because maybe they did not elect them properly, or there are certain technicalities there. So I know that my dad will say to some of the politicians, don't worry yourself. If he wins, we are able to overturn it because he doesn't have this, he wasn't elected properly and things like that. So I know those are technical reasons, and those are reasons that could be used. Now let me go to my brother, Mr. Babajide, and one of the things I would like you to do is actually speak more louder and quicker for us, sir, because so that other people can hear you. Good, excellent, loud. Good. So what is your view on this? Do you think Jonathan, do you think APC might decide to give Jonathan consensus so that it doesn't even go through the primaries, and it will just go through and start for the southwest, south?
Thank you, Mr. Bodo. That's just a political distraction.
Okay.
There's nobody waiting at the tarmac.
This is much louder now.
That is flying. Let's be hopeful that Nigeria will still be by 2023. Why do I say so? Jonathan has a name that he has been, and I think he has been so good at what he has been doing. And I think we want to tread on that path by bringing that kind of distraction, or let's say propaganda, that he wants to come into the APC. To me, I'll just call that proper. To me, I'll just say maybe anything can happen
in Nigeria
politics. Yes, anything can happen in Nigeria. Nigerian politics is very, very unique. It's very different from any. You can't project. Yes, you can't project. You can't actually say that this person, due to the permutation, due to what statistics, this person will actually win an election. I've witnessed so many times whereby people on the ballot box being declared winner at the polling unit, but by the time they want to go to INEC office to get their certificate of return, their name is not there. It's a different candidate. Yes. And the example goes on like that. But to say that Jonathan wants, what I think that the Buhari administration might want to do to destabilize the South is by saying that maybe they can want to give it to a Southerner that is not
popular.
That the followership is, you can count the followership, you can count that person's political stance.
Okay, are you saying that Ondo governor? The Ondo governor, for example.
I'm talking about governor of my state, Governor Fayemi.
That's what I'm talking about. It's Ekiti. Sorry, Ekiti.
Ondo is for Akeredolu.
Akeredolu, okay, yes.
Akeredolu is for Ondo, and Fayemi is for. So that's what I think. That's my own opinion, and that has been going on since 2019. Because when you see the trend, we know that I think that is from the research I've made, from the interactions with other politicians, I think they believe that the Buhari body language is like.
Can I ask you another question? Yes or no? If they put Jagaban and Ondo governor down, who do you think the Southwest people would prefer? Just a question, just yes or no. Which one do you think?
For me to answer, it will be Jagaban. You know why? Jagaban has the financial capacity.
Yeah.
And he has the popularity and he has the numbers.
Good.
Whether we like it or not, yes, there are some Yorubas that believe that Tinubu, he has some case file here, he has monopolized Lagos State, he has done this, he has done that. But when we look at the statistics and look at the
financial on the ground,
capacity is Tinubu.
He has it.
They don't really get along, but at the end of the day, when it came to the second time of Akeredolu, he had to reach out to Jagaban. And that's how he was able to win.
To secure it.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Excellent. Let me go finally back to so that we can close this chapter and move to the next one. You've heard it from my brother. He said, even though people have been throwing around the name of the Ekiti State governor, that when it comes down to it, whether you like it or not, just like you mentioned, Jagaban, regardless whether you love him or hate him, if there is something about that man that makes him sellable, not only to Southwest, but even to people in the North, because they saw that it was the Jagaban factor that brought in Buhari into the thing, and Jagaban might be able to pull over the 12 million votes, the same type of number that Buhari have. Do you agree with that? With that submission, sir?
Who is that? Me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Jagaban, as far as I'm concerned, is a force to reckon with. Let me describe Jagaban in Yoruba parlance. He has a precedent, he has antecedents. Whether you like him or you love him, I've said it so many times on this program that the reason that Lagos State is unarguably, and I mean that with all sense of sincerity, unarguably the most viable state in Nigeria today is down to Jagaban. And he did that at a very difficult period when the state was starved of their monthly allocation for 3 years by Obasanjo. That was what propelled the man to begin to think outside the box. And that was why I was knocking the issue of the regional whatever that we're talking about for the Yoruba Nation. That look, we don't need that, to do what we want to do in the Southwest. If Jagaban could do it in Lagos without asking for a Yoruba Nation, what stops other governors from thinking outside the box and doing the needful for their own people without necessarily having to go to Abuja every month to cap in hand for money? It is doable, because for me, I see every governor as a manager. And if you are elected as a manager, for God's sake, manage. And if you cannot manage, get out of the way. Let somebody else who can think outside the box for the people to do it. So, as far as I'm concerned, Jagaban has proved his mettle, whether we like to admit it or not. And not only that, he is a man who likes to empower other people. Think of most of the people making heads in this government of today. They were all raised up by Jagaban in Lagos. That's point number one. Point number two, when he was the governor of Lagos State, he did not only he reached out to people who are not even Yorubas. Forget the fact that some of them are not even from Lagos State. He had Igbos in his cabinet. The man sought for talents. As soon as he sees talents, he brings them into his cabinet and makes use of them. And that is why Lagos is succeeding today, where so many other states are failing. So for me, if we want progress for the country come 2023, I don't think we should look further than him. Well, people are talking about his age and whatever, because as far as I'm concerned, age is nothing but numbers. What matters is what is here and how you can gather people together, because he alone cannot do, because he doesn't have no one person has all the answers to the issues in Nigeria. But what matters to me is somebody who can bring in people that and can harness all their talents together to make the country move forward. That's the kind of person we want. So as far as I'm concerned, I personally, I'm talking about myself, I wouldn't look further than Jagaban come 2023.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Let's now go to the major issue of our last segment today, our last story, which I believe you are all familiar with, the Yoruba agitation and challenges. A lot of things have happened there, but for some of our people that might not remember, let me play a video.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ Sunday Igboho, àwọn federal government wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe máa ń ṣe. Ìwọ́n tó rí ẹ̀ burú lóun sọ wípé federal government wọ́n ń ṣọ̀tá aráàlú, ṣé ń rí ẹ̀jẹ̀ ní o, ẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́ ń wò nílẹ̀ yìí o, wọ́n pa àwọn èèyàn wọ́n sì wọ́n wọn lọ, ṣé ń rí iṣẹ́ wọn ni wọ́n ti wá pè fógun báyìí o. Torí gbogbo èèyàn náà ló ti kò sí tí Ìgbòho ṣe fún wọn. Ẹ wò bọ́n yẹn pa èèyàn, ẹ wò bọ́n yẹn pa àwọn èèyàn, ẹ wò wọ́n wá wọ́ ẹnìyẹn, wọ́n wọ́ lọ kán lè má gẹ̀ẹ́tì wípé àwọn pààyàn. Tí ò bá ń ṣe kí ni federal government wá ṣe lóru, ẹ ti rí báyìí, ṣe ti rí, wọ́n bà nǹkan jẹ́ gan, wọ́n bà nǹkan jẹ́ gan. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn, tó bá ní òní kàn ẹ́ ó ti wà lẹ́yìn ilẹ̀kùn ẹ dìde. Ìjà gbogbo wa ló ń jà o. Ẹ wo bọ́n yẹn ṣe property, gbogbo àwọn mọ́tò pátá kò sí tí wọ́n fọwọ́ bà, gbogbo ẹ̀ náà fi búlẹ̀tì bàjẹ́. Ṣé ti rí, ṣé ti rí mọ́tò eléyìí náà wọ́n bàjẹ́. Ẹ wo àwọn ni wọ́n fọ́ báyìí, ẹ wo inú rẹ̀, wọ́n fọ́ mọ́tò. Ṣé ti rí, ẹ wo mọ́tò yìí jí wa gan yìí. Ṣé ti rí federal government wọ́n ti pè fógun báyìí o, àbí kan rógun. Mọ́tò yìí náà wọ́n bàjẹ́. Gbogbo ohun tí wọ́n ń sọ náà ni pé mẹ́sẹ̀jì tán gìfù ni pé ká má lè lọ Lagos rally, wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe àwàdà ni. Ṣé rí wọ́n pa àwọn èèyàn, ṣé ti rí, ṣé rí.
It's not really about the narrative. The video is not to actually talk about the narrative of the individual, so you can ignore that, but rather to bring to your attention the incident that happened on 1st of July, which was about 97 days ago. And as a result of that incident, on Friday, a judge in Oyo State listened to a petition by by Sunday Igboho, the Orisha of the Yoruba Nation, as they call him, and he asked for 500 billion, but it was awarded 20 billion naira by the state governor, by the Oyo State governor, Oyo State High Judge. Sorry, apologies. Now, the federal government have appealed as rightly they should. Let me go to Mr. Abajide first, then I go to Pastor, then I end with the lawyer in our midst. Mr. Abajide, what is your view of this situation? And do you think that the 20 billion that is asked for we saw the destruction. Truly, there was destruction. There are brand new cars that were destroyed. The house was actually destroyed. People were killed. There's no doubt about that. And we know the incident that happened, even to the extent that the DSS even lost some of the file for the terrorism to one chance. On you know, the one chance can even steal equipment from them on the motorway. You know? So let me not laugh before they start putting me on their watch list. So let me leave the discussion to you. What is your view of the 20 billion that the court has awarded, and do you think the federal government will pay him? You need to speak up. You need to speak up for your people.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So let's just dive into it. Now, judgment has been passed. Now the federal government by Malami, is it Malami, as said in his press statement that they are going to appeal the decision. Let's wait for the appeal to go ahead, because they said they are going to appeal. That doesn't mean that they've actually put in an appeal. So that means the case has been won and 20 billion has been awarded to the plaintiff. So now, whether the government, knowing Nigerian government as reckless in their anything that doesn't favor them, I think they're going to drag this for a very long time. Okay. The only thing what I can see here is that the federal government, something might happen during this week by compelling the judge or suspending the judge through our chief, our CJ, that's Alaji Tanko technicality, can compel the judge that why would the judge give that kind of judgment? Because everybody's being controlled by the federal government. And for that kind of decision to be given to award Igboho, that means what the federal government has done, that means they are already guilty of that offense. That means they are not, what they've carried out is against Igboho's human rights. And that means the federal government is totally wrong. And now it has given Igboho, he has been given another edge over the federal government. So now he's lost some battles while he's being detained in Benin Republic.
Benin Republic, yeah.
Yes, he's been so now it just shows that he's the one winning. But how this is going to turn out, we don't know, because he's still in detention. He's winning a case back home and he's still being held in another country. How that's going to turn out, I think everything is already messed up, because what we are hearing is that there's sort of an influence on Nigerian government in Igboho's case being detained in Benin Republic as we speak, because the case should have been here. It's either his asylum application being granted or denied or being sent back home or to allow him to continue his journey to Germany. So if he has won the case, maybe that one will transcend, maybe that will change his court case here in Benin Republic to favor him. We will see in this coming week. But as we stand, I don't even understand where we are going from here.
Okay, let me go to Pastor. Pastor, there are certain facts about this case that we cannot doubt. Fact number one, which is facts that we cannot doubt. Fact number one is that they went to his house. Fact number two is that people were killed in the process. Fact number three is that those things were destroyed. Whether it was from bullets that he was firing from his own, the people in his house was firing, or the DSS were firing, at least that house was destroyed. So those evidence are there, and the judge felt like the state is guilty and must be awarded. They must award damages. It's called criminal damage in law. It's criminal damage. Do you think Sunday Igboho will get that money? Oh, Pastor is gone. Do you think what do you think, Barrister? Do you think he will get that money, sir?
well, not anytime soon. That I can assure you.
Okay.
Because I know for sure that he's only won the
High Court.
The battle. He hasn't won the war.
Okay.
I'm not privy to the facts of the case, but as far as I know, this is just the first wrong within the judicial process.
Yes.
As far as the case is concerned, I will expect the federal government to appeal the case. It might even go up to the Supreme Court. And I just want to touch on something that my learned brother said earlier on, where he was making an assumption that the CJN might sanction the judge. I don't think it's helpful for us to be saying such things in a public forum like this. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because there are a lot of people out there who hold on religiously to what we say here.
Okay.
Many of them are not as enlightened as we are,
Okay.
and they will see what we say, they will run with it. For me, as far as I know, and as far as most learned people know, our judges in Nigeria are independent. The judge has it because nobody was there with him. I believe he made whatever judgment he made based on the facts that are available to him at the time.
Okay.
So I'm going to give him that benefit of the doubt for that. So for anybody to suggest that maybe the CJN will sanction him for that, I think it's not proper. However, like I said, he's not going to get that money anytime soon because I will expect the federal government to appeal. They will go to appeal court from there. They can even go as far as the Supreme Court. So whatever the Supreme Court says, that is what will now hold at the end of the day. So until the case gets to the apex court, I wouldn't want to give it any light, any lights, because as far as I'm concerned, the case is still work in progress. Okay. So until it reaches the last bus stop, we don't know yet what is going to happen. Okay. So that's what would be my own take on it.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you quickly, but let me go to Pastor. Pastor, we lost you briefly there. What is your view on the 20 billion that be awarded to Igboho? Do you think there's any hope for him to get that money, knowing Nigerian government when it comes to payment of damages?
Yes, it could take time before he gets the money. But then what I want us to take away from this judgment is that it's not just Sunday Igboho that has won here. We've all won. Justice, fairness, and equitability. You know, we mentioned it severally, including most of the top lawyers, Femi Falana, all of them. They said the DSS or SSS, that the invasion of that house was a violation. It was unlawful, it was illegal. And the court, with that judgment, has established that the DSS, of course, it's an extension arm of the federal government, has abused its power. So it's a plus for us, for everyone that is seeking for a sane community in Nigeria. Now, the government, of course, AGF, Malami said they were going to lodge an appeal. That has not been done yet. But the counsel to the AGF, Abdullahi Abubakar, mentioned two things. I hope that's not what they are going to present at the appeal. One of the things he mentioned was that there's no proof that the blood that was seen on the floor there is from any of the person at Igboho's house. And secondly, that the house in the video, that there's no proof that it's Igboho's house. I mean, there's no way somebody would take those two things to any appeal. I mean, it would just look like somebody that is actually stupid, because the video was done. The DSS initially claimed that, you know, they were quiet. They said they didn't do it, but later when people brought in evidences, then they said yes, they were the one. And they said themselves that they engaged in a gun duel with some of Igboho's guys. So you see straight away that maybe he's just saying this just to keep people off the track, but I'm sure they won't go and present this at the appeal. Okay. It will be like a waste
Pastor, let me ask you a question. Pastor, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Don't you think this is a success story for the Buhari administration? In the sense that it's only during the Buhari administration that, you know, people have committed infractions against communities. So we know that even in Delta State, they've taken the federal government to court, and they've been awarded money, and the president have not come out to say no, nobody's giving them money. As far as President Buhari is concerned, he's a Democrat, and we have all been witnesses, and we've all been saying that this president seems to be a Democrat to the fort, because when if things are done, he just keeps quiet because he doesn't want to be seen as interfering with anything. Even when there's an election in the House of Representatives or the Senate, even if it doesn't favor him, he doesn't interfere. Can't we say that this federal government has not been interfering?
Well, I think
from the president's perspective.
Well, we could give a credit to the government that they've not been interfering, but then you really want to look at it from the other angle that, okay, if this judgment has come now and the government is not doing the needful, are we still going to give that credit? So people give judgment. We've seen, even look at Babangida, president or head of states that time, and for him, Nwosu shouldn't have declared June 12th, but Nwosu went ahead and declared it. We've also had during the last government where we have court giving judgment against the government. So it's actually what the Buhari government will do with this judgment. So we'll look at it that if just on this one, I mean, the court has been allowed, let's put it that way, has been allowed to do its process. That is the Ibadan court, without any interference from the federal government. So, I mean, we'll give him credit for that.
Okay. They said they will give the president credit for that. Let me go to you, barrister, because there's something that we legal mind always say, and I'll go back to Mr. Bajide on this particular point too, because I know he might have one or two things to say. If I'm trying to be a bit cheeky, if I could be a bit cheeky, I would say if I'm Gani, if I'm Sunday Igboho's lawyer, I'll say, you know what? The government might drag their feet. The Attorney General might drag his feet a little bit. If we do a bit of technicality and we manage to get this case to the appeal court and you win again, maybe they might manage to get a judge who might be sympathetic and say, okay, maybe it's not up to 20 billion. Because at the end of the day, foreign currency is going up. We know that very soon it might even be £1 to 1,000 naira. So by the time you put interest compound, that might actually go to even 30 billion. Then what I will tell him is, do what those cookie, let me not use cookie so they don't sue me, because I know anything that is level. Let's do what those people let's do what those people did with the people that had no petroleum experience, that got a contract and managed to put the Nigeria High Commission house in London under bailiff. Let's do the same thing. So you just scout for some of Nigerian property abroad, put a bailiff on top of it, or put a charge on top of it, and you'll be able to get your money back from an international perspective. I've been a devil's advocate now. I don't represent Sunday Igboho. He has not paid me any money. But I'm just asking you, sir, what will be your view? If you are representing Sunday Igboho at this time, as Omoluabi, will you be encouraging his lawyers to be thinking about actually putting a bailiff, international bailiff bandit on the bond on some of our properties internationally and getting the money if the federal government decide not to do anything in Nigeria?
Well, as far as I understand the law globally, you cannot engage the service of a bailiff unless all avenues of legal niceties has been exhausted. Yes. Like I said earlier on, this is just the first tier of all the other wrongs of the legal jurisprudence that needs to go. Yeah. So that will be put, if they decide to want to do that, then that will be putting the cart before the horse, and it will be counterproductive in the sense that if they did that, the government lawyer will hold on that in their subsequent appeal to paint them as money grabbers, if you know what I mean. Okay. And that's the way they can play that in the court. That will be to the detriment of the Igboho team. Okay. Because that has shown that all they are after is money. You get the point? Okay. So for me, I wouldn't dare give that kind of advice, because it that can only work if, say, for instance, the matter has gone to the apex court and the apex court has ruled in their favor.
Okay.
And because normally when they rule in their favor, there'll be a window within which the government should pay up. So if that window expires, even if that window hasn't expired, they can still not engage service of bailiffs until that has expired. Then that is when they can then say, okay, let's go there. But if they should do that now, trust me, they will be shooting themselves in the foot.
Okay. Okay, sir. Before let me correct that notion again. What I was saying was, if, for example, the appeal goes to court, and the judge comes back and say, yes, there was a damage to that house, Nigeria has the right to property. The document was not served properly, because remember, we are now talking from a civil perspective now, not just a criminal damage. It's not really so from a criminal damage perspective, a civil case perspective, it might actually win that case from a civil perspective. And if Nigerian government decide not to pay up, it can go to the West African Court on human rights grounds, win that case, and because it's winning against a Nigerian government, it can actually, which has been proven now, a lot of people can now use that to say, okay, based on that, they can ask for an international court to forfeit an account, a property of the government abroad, to cover that money, because we'll see that a precedent have now been set by what happened. And the only way we've been able, even though we've not got out of it, the only way we've been able to get out of the current case that has tried to forfeit about some of our billions, our properties abroad, is that we said there was corruption in the process. But in this kind of case where it is clear-cut damage against a security agent which belongs to the government, if the government does not act on it and kill that case very quickly, is there a possibility that it might use use our property abroad to pay for that thing? That's what I'm saying.
Again, like I said earlier on, you cannot take that step unless you have all the legal steps has been exhausted.
Okay.
If you cannot, for me, it will be like being on a suicide mission, because the government lawyers will latch on that straight away to say, oh, it's a money grabber. That was the reason he went to court in the first place, because he wanted money. And trust me, they will damage all his credibility just with that singular act.
Okay, so your advice to the Attorney General is that take this case very seriously, because if you don't take it seriously, they might actually go after some of our properties abroad, as we have suggested on this program, as a means of getting money out, because Nigerian government might not pay them anyway if it's just left in Nigerian court.
Well, if you ask me, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, and Buhari brought him back in 2019, even though I personally was not expecting him to be brought back for reasons that is out there in the open for everybody to see.
Yeah.
But he brought him back. Good luck to them.
Okay. Mr. Ajile, let me bring you in now. In 30 seconds, just like I asked, precedent have been set, if the federal government does not move very quickly on this issue, can Igboho people think, okay, maybe since a precedent have been set, and we've mentioned it on this platform, it's not been mentioned on any platform before. We are the first one talking about it. That can he be thinking of, okay, maybe I can even get the Nigerian embassy in Germany, maybe get that property to be forfeited to cover my property in Nigeria, since Nigerian government will not pay for it. I'm just saying. But Nigerian government is known for dragging their feet. If they drag their feet on this situation, do you see something as drastic as that being taken as a step by the Igboho people?
Thank you. First of all, before I answer this question,
very quickly, loudly.
The barrister made mention of a statement whereby I said that maybe the CJM might compel the judge because it's not in favor of the federal.
Yeah,
I would like to retract that statement, because it might be.
I know you only did it as a cheeky tone. It wasn't made a hair. It was just
I might not be sound in law per se, but because of the things that have been happening in Nigeria,
with
of Nigerian law, whereby you can get 2 different judgments on the same case.
Yeah,
it has happened, and it keeps happening. So that's why I made that statement.
Okay.
I'm not saying that the CJ
it will happen.
Just
you were just using it as a joke, as a side joke. Now Yoruba people will say, yeah, so, cheeky, just be cheeky.
So that's just to point that out.
Okay.
We really mean it that he's going to be compelled to do that. So back to the 2 billion. So we're talking about the
20 billion. Yes.
Whether the federal government, whether they're going to pay or they will. The thing is that you are already in debt. I think you're about 33 trillion in debt as we speak.
And the VAT debt also is there.
Yeah, and it's there. So I think, like what the barrister has said, that because we've not exhausted all the process, but I can, from my own perspective, for this present government to pay this 20 billion, they can drag it to 2023 and hand it over to the next administration. That's what I was saying.
Technically, within the law, within the premise of the law, they won't be doing,
they won't be doing anything wrong. They have
right.
ways they do things that they can drag it to 2020. I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do, but there's a way, because they've not exhausted all the process to the apex court, which is the highest court in the country. So for that note alone, like what Barrister said again, he has won the battle, but he has not won the war. So he just started. So I'm a the 2023. But as of now, I'm not sure, because he's been counted as a terrorist. To me, he has a case with the federal government, even here in Nigeria. So I don't know whether this judgment will overrule what the case they have with him. I'm talking about the SSS against Igboho.
Okay.
So that's
okay. So let me go to Pastor. I know I'm not saying you're a lawyer, but there's something we were taught in law school during my days. I can't remember, maybe I'm getting too old now. But there's something called cause and effect. So, for example, I'm a police officer. I'm chasing a criminal, and there's a shootout. As a result of the shootout, there was collateral damage. Somebody was shot in the process. In law, the policeman is not actually guilty in law. Is actually the criminal that will be held guilty for the murder of that person that was killed in the course of the action. So, why we might say that the lawyer doesn't know what he's saying, that's the lawyer, is actually indirectly saying that anything that happened in Igboho's house, because of the circumstances upon which they went after Igboho, they might actually turn it around and say, you know what? Anybody that got killed in your house, it's your fault. Any damage that happened in your house is your fault. That is in law. I'm talking in law now, in criminal law. Of course, that might be different in civil law. But let's look at it for that person. Yes, sir. I'm just saying that is in civil law. In civil, it might be different in civil law. But in criminal law, it might actually, they might not even pay him a penny, because they will say that it's because it's a wanted man, and there was a document, there was a warrant for his arrest, and they had other national security. They can do and undo. They could bring down his house and nothing will happen. Even though in law, he has a right to his property in law. He has a right to his human right in law, but that right can be truncated. So let me go to you now. I heard that because of all the wahalas in the south, or all the demonstration that happens and they're not allowed to demonstrate, that there's going to be a mega demonstration in New York. How is that demonstration going in New York? And do you think that the demonstration, has it happened already? And did they have the 1 million people that they were calling for, the people? And is this going to happen?
Well, quickly from the first part, I mean, if we look at the judgment that have been passed and what has been said by many lawyers, the Igbo, it was an invasion.
Okay.
As simple as that. They could have arrested him. It wasn't somebody that was running about or somebody that they chased and then they just looked for one area. So whatever happened in his house, the DSS or SSS, they are going to be responsible. I hope also.
Okay, sir. Can I just inject? Because just for balance and being a devil's advocate, I'm talking as somebody that's been involved in enforcement activities. When you go to a house where there is intelligence that there are weapons there, yeah, you can shoot anything moving if you believe that there is immediate threat. So we don't still know when they go to appeal what the government will bring out. But some lawyers will say that it was an invasion. Some other lawyers will say that they have gone after a man, and we've not seen the warrant. Until we see the warrant, we still don't know. But I just needed to put that in so that we are providing a balance. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, what we can say even about that is that, remember, and I've said it before, that all the people that were taken at Igbo's house, that were taken to Abuja, as the DSS or the federal government made any charge against them, remember that it was their lawyer.
Okay, sorry to interject again. They actually were putting together a document which they were taking to the court, but it was stolen by one chance. And I think the typewriter they use also does not have an extra copy, or they don't have the soft copy. So you can go ahead, sir.
I mean, that's the most irresponsible action by the DSS. Okay. And by extension, the federal government. I mean, number one, how many days have they kept these people without preparing anything?
Okay.
And they were not. It wasn't the DSS that made the first step. It was the lawyer seeking for bail for those people. So you can see that they are playing games. I mean, it's just straightforward. They are playing games. I hope that by the time they finish this, those people that they killed in that house, that their family will be able to raise. Will be able to take the government to court for murder of their family members, because the government, from the day that incident happened, the 1st of July, up until now, has not shown any form of seriousness. They just behave as if they can do anything, and then that is it. So, but let's leave that one there. Let's move on to the United Nations, the New York protest. I've seen some couple of videos and photos. Of course, the 1 million is not there. That's definite. But then I think they said they will continue with it until, I think, the 24th. So that means maybe as they go on, I mean, day by day, more people will be joining. I don't also know when exactly. Because I heard that the president is meant to make a speech or something like that. So maybe that is what they are targeting. But yes, there's a bit of protest going on there. But then that 1 million number is not yet there. I mean, from what is available to me. Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Thank you so much, sir. And let me just play the Let's finish this segment with that very enjoyable. Yorubas are known to be very lovable people, and we are finishing now in less than 2 minutes, and I want us to, for our viewers back home, If you are watching this place, like this page, share this page, tell your friends we are here, and we're going to switch to Yoruba language now for just the last segment, just the last 3 minutes for our Yoruba viewers. So, Barrister, Etiri Tibabanjo, Jagaban, the only one. Another one is a counterfeit. Kí ni ọ̀rọ̀ yín fún Southwest? Kí ni view yín fún Southwest? Bá a ṣe ń lọ níwájú báyìí nísìn. Ṣé kí Ogbo aṣọwọ́kọ̀? Mo mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn kan ń sọ, and I think for the first time, wọ́n ní Ogbo àwọn governor of Southwest to come together. For them to even come together, and they've been meeting now, they met 4 times, even 5 times now in this dispensation compared to before. They pé wọ́n lè commit lẹ́ẹ̀kan abẹ́ méjì. It looks as if it's a good sign. They've talked about VAT, they've talked about the open ranch and other things, and it looks as if they are working together. Can you encouraging whatever from South at this moment now going forward, knowing that Jagaban is the only man that is to be beaten for the 2023 election? Can you view it? Better. Okay.
But he was talking about invasion of Igboho's house.
Better, sir.
That statement for me is completely off. Off because of one simple thing. Gbogbo alagboti Igboho fún ara tó sọ lórí audio níbi pé nígbà táwọn DSS they shouted out to him to say, Igboho, we know you are in there, come out. Which, even from a layman's view, meant an invitation for him to come out for either investigation or for arrest. So for him not to honor that, to me meant he was resisting arrest. And in law, there's something we call causation or cause effects, either remote or whatever. So the Martin boy issue people invade there, because ṣé àwọn èèyàn wọn ò fetí sí torí Ìgbòho fúnra rẹ̀ ni mo ń kóòtù báyìí sí o. DSS will not go there and start shooting unless there was a resistance. I want us to get all our facts right. So Pastor Nodestole concluded there was an exchange of fire. What does that mean? So it takes two to tango. Clear and there was nothing like invasion. They went there, but what Western world about what's in Lenyo, is the police open up. So but you open one big sledgehammer and one double leg. We all know that. So why are we making exceptions? Because it is Nigeria. Let's get real. So
So nothing is going to happen, but people have to know what is happening now. This is Totu. Shemburo. Ẹjọ́ bá mi ṣí ẹ mo fi títóbi ìyọ́nú Ọlọ́run bá bẹ̀ yín.
Okay, so in other words, okay, so I'll continue, sir.
So, untemi so ni pé kò see pé man shop much and what language is the man lo lórí program it most kan pé a lot of people tí wọ́n were as enlightened as us ohun tá bá sọ níbí they hold on to it religiously ohun tó dẹ̀ máa go to town pẹ̀lú nìyẹn. So when we start talking about invasion, how can you invade someone's house? And yet, because invasion, in my own view, when you come to invade somebody's house, you don't go there to invite him to come out. You go there, gun blazing before any say that. But that wasn't what happened. Igboho himself said it, that they asked him to come out, then he refused to come out. So, which, from all intents and purposes, meant he was resisting arrest.
Yeah.
So, whatever happens after that, in law, you cannot escape that because there's a corresponding action and reaction. So let's mind the kind of languages that we speak, because people hold on just to what we say and they go to town with it. And before we know it, Sherry propaganda only war related. So this is why I'm always I have nothing against Igboho other than the fact that I see him as somebody who is trying to destabilize the Yoruba land and Nigeria. That's the only thing Timoni against it. And that is why Timothy is supported. Anyhow, if there's any, if there are problem in Nigeria, we all have to sit down and talk about it. So come lórí yẹn ntẹ́mi máa advice máa fún àwa Yorùbá ni wípé torí ó ṣe mí láàánú sà wípé mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan níbẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí mo ní àwọn gàmbàrí tá à ń sọ pé orí wọn ò pé ẹran ni wọ́n mọ tó ń ṣe Jagaban ní more support nílẹ̀ Haúsá ju ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lọ and you begin to ask yourself why Jagaban ò ṣe gómìnà nílẹ̀ Haúsá náà so how come táwọn yẹn rí value ẹ̀ táwọn agogo tá a jọ ń sọ èdè tàbádẹ sọ sí wà lédè kan náà là ń sọ sorry we don't speak the same language because kí n sọ̀rọ̀ kó yé yín kẹ́yìn náà sọ̀rọ̀ kó yé mi là ń pè ní èdè kan náà so when I'm speaking Yoruba and you speaking Yoruba we don't understand each other then we're not communicating that's the way I look at it so n tẹ́ máa sọ fún wọn ni pé as far as mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé Jagaban ó gbóúnjẹ fẹ́gbẹ́ ó dẹ̀ gbà àwọ̀ ẹ̀bọ̀ wá sílé ó ti ṣe ta ni kó ṣe òun ló jẹ́ kí Lagos state lónìí kò dín tó dà lónìí kò sí state kò sí state Lagos state fún ara ní one class as the fifth largest economy in Africa èrè ọmọdé kọ́nà and he started it òun ló ṣe blueprint tí wọ́n ń follow ní Lagos state yes ó ní fault there èmi tí mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ mo ní fault èmi náà tani ò ní fault there every single one of us la ní fault tiwa but èmi ní pé nígbà tá a bá gbé fault yẹn sí achievement èwo ló high jù tàbá wá ní àfẹ́ Jagaban ẹjọ́ ta lẹ́fẹ́ ṣé Bọ̀dé George la fẹ́ múlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ni àbí ta ni torí kò yé mi táwọn yẹn wá ń ta sí those who are against the guy mi ò gbowó kan lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ oyin ti gbá kan Bíbélì ní ẹni tó bá ń ṣe ń di pẹpẹ ó láti jẹ́ ń di pẹpẹ it's a known fact if it's done tí ọmọ bá ṣe dáadáa ó yẹ ká kí Jagaban ó gbìyànjú ní ilẹ̀ Èkó torí òun ló fà á pé kò sí ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ Lagos State ní Nàìjíríà títí dòní olónìí òun ló dé tu and he did it at a very difficult time tó yẹ pé ọmọ Yorùbá ẹgbẹ́ ló ń fún lọ́rùn báyìí tó fẹ́ ba tiẹ̀ jẹ́ nígbà náà gbogbo ẹ̀ la nígbà náà nobody said anything nígbà náa but he used that to his own advantage instead of complaining he used that situation to his own advantage and that is why Lagos State is the only I would say the only viable state in Nigeria tá a bá fẹ́ sọ pé kí yan ìpínlẹ̀ kò ṣẹlẹ́gbẹ́ Èkó ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ tọrọ fúnra wa so on that basis alone fún èmi o àti àwọn èèyàn tó ti ara ẹ̀ jáde vice president ta ni lónìí òun ló gbé dìde Fashola òun ló gbé dìde and so many other people like that ẹ wo man Faleke tí wọ́n shortchange ní Kogi state he brought him to Lagos and made him a senator today I mean what more do you want the man to do so as far as I'm concerned kò gbówó fún mi ò bọ̀ èmi ò ní rí òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ̀ mi ò ní rójú ọ̀nà lẹ̀ kí n máa lẹ́rí wogbó láìláì will never do that tí n bá rí òótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ̀ máa sọ àwùbẹ̀ kàkú bẹ̀ for me lónìí o unless mi lè sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ mi bá jáde lọ́la tí mo rí pé ó credible then maybe I will change my mind but for now he's the only viable man tí mo mọ̀ especially pẹ̀lú tó wọ̀ Nàìjíríà nísìn òun ni mo mọ̀ tó yẹ pé ó lè ṣe àtúnṣe lórí tó wà lẹ́yìn unless tàbá dẹ̀ fẹ́ shoot ara wa lẹ́sẹ̀ nítorí ṣe mọ̀ pé àwa Yorùbá ń gbà mí afọ́nì lẹ́dà tàbá fẹ́ shoot ara wa lẹ́sẹ̀ okay ká máa sọ pé okay àfẹ́ ńgbà náà fine no problem ìní sọ bí ẹ lọ sà.
ẹyà Mr. Jide ilẹ̀ ọ̀yà kí ni ẹni sọ kí ni advice tẹ́ máa fún àwọn southern governors ẹ bá mi sọ ní pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ 1 minute ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè dáadáa ẹ jọ. àgbọ̀yìn o ẹ ti mú tara yín.
hello.
yes good.
mo fẹ́ touch lórí nǹkan kan tí barrister sọ nísìn wọ́n sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n sọ àwọn nǹkan ṣe rí bí ẹ ṣe sọ pé àwọn ìjọba ní agbára láti rí fídíò tá a wò ní pé àwọn gbálẹ̀kùn ṣé àwa gan mọ̀ pé bí ìjọba ṣe ní agbára bí wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ náà ní àwọn ìmọ̀ tó ń gbé níbẹ̀ táwọn gọ́bà táwọn ṣàbò lé wọn lórí wọn ni wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ a ti gbọ́ dáadáa lámọye ìgbà tí àwọn aráàbí wọn mú search warrant lọ sí anywhere ẹ tó bá máa gbé wọn á jí gbé yín even ó take wọn almost when it was a public outcry kan tó admit páwọn làwọn lọ bẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé tó yẹ pé ó wà wọ́n tó mú nǹkan létò ní tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ even gan Mr. Femi Falana SAN ti sọ pé kí tiẹ̀ náà tiẹ̀ àwọn ti bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ lórí pé ẹ fẹ́ arrest èèyàn ẹ ṣe wá ṣe ní lójúmọmọ ó ṣe jẹ́ kó òwúrọ̀ ọ̀gànjọ́ lẹ́yìn lọ síbẹ̀ láì ṣe pé nìyẹn ti kọ́kọ́ place ẹ̀ bóyá ti invite ẹ̀ wá kó wá ẹ̀ dẹ̀ place on the warrant list so anywhere tí bá ti lè máa gbé ẹ wá lọ sílé èèyàn lórí ọ̀gànjọ́ ẹ wọ́n ṣe àfẹ́ base ẹ̀ lórí nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ pé wọ́n sọ pé àwọn DSS ni àbáwọn SQ ni àbáwọn MI5 ni àbí MI20 ni àwọn people tó yẹ kí wọ́n pọnlẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ilé tó bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn àti mọrú èèyàn tí àwọn ìjọba yìí jẹ́ wọ́n ti ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣé àwọn nìkan ló máa kọ́ ṣèjọba ni àti mọ bóyá ń ṣèjọba yìí in as much as a lè má like nǹkan bí Ìgbòho ṣe gbé kínní ìgbà but at the end of the day èèyàn kọ́ láti ṣe gbogbo àwọn tó bá ń jàfẹ́tọ̀ gbogbo náà ìsára nǹkan tí wọ́n máa ń fojú rí náà ni kò ṣe gbogbo èèyàn náà ló máa support wọn but at the end of the day tí kínní ẹ̀ bá máa ìtàn tó ń ṣe tó bá máa favour àwọn tán àwọn tá máa criticize wọn náà la máa jẹ ọ̀rọ̀ ọbẹ̀ ó lè má ṣe dáadáa because òun ibi tóun mọ̀ dé nìyẹn because òun lè má kàwé lọ títí àwọn tó dẹ̀ yẹ kán ṣe wọ́n gbégbèsè ibi tóun mọ̀ tóun lè fi ṣe nìyẹn tóun lè fi liberate àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ because orí táwọn ń pa àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tó ń ṣe sí gómìnà wà ń bẹ president náà wà ń bẹ wọn kò tí ì rí wọn fẹ́ lè value wọn ti ń value cow more than the human being so ìyẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ti wà nílé ẹjọ́ kó máa bára wọn kò bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí ti southern government pé bóyá kán gbà bí kán má gbà ṣe rí in as much as pé kí wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ òdì ìkọ̀kan náà ni gbogbo wọn ìkànnù brother wa bàbá pupa eléjì òun náà ti cross over yẹn lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó ti bú Buhari láti 2015 ló ti gbà ìjọba ó ti bú títí di bíi 2 days ago ó dẹ̀ ní pé àkòrí bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ o ó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ní pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ pé táyà tó ń lè ti ya picture yìí sìn because nǹkan tó máa ti ya picture lọ́nà yíyà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó máa ti ya picture báyìí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣìṣọ́ ni wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣìṣọ́ wọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí káàbòròbò àti tán bí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn so bóyá ó bá fẹ́ wù wọ́n but ní nǹkan tí Akérédolú ti tòǹdó sọ o because mo rí pé agbẹnusọ fún gbogbo àwọn southern governors ní SAN arákùnrin Akérédolú ó ti fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ ti sọ pé kò sí nǹkan tó máa yẹ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn pé south ló ń bọ̀ so ibi tó máa gbé sí ni o bóyá ilẹ̀ Ìgbò ni o bóyá àwọn ti riverine ni o bóyá ti Yorùbá gangan ni o àti ìmọ̀ ni because wọ́n sì máa dìbò lórí wọ́n sì máa deliberate wọ́n sì máa sọ̀rọ̀ lórí yẹn pé bóyá Haúsá ń sọ pé eré ló ń ṣe south yẹn àwọn gangan ló ń ṣeré wọ́n ti fàyè gbà wọ́n jù ní àyè tó gbà wọ́n lè rẹ pé tí ó giri Yorùbá lanu aláǹgbá ò lè wọbẹ̀ àwọn Yorùbá àwọn ti ara wa náà ló máa ń fà á tó máa ń jẹ́ kán ronú bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣé báwọn mi etí àlà nìyẹn tó ń fún wọn ní so much platform ńlá wọ́n wà lórí mainstream TV káwọn yẹn náà kọ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé àwọn governors tó wà ní kinní yẹn kò tó wọ́n ń sọ àwọn máa fojú wọn pọ́n ẹ̀ mọ̀ kọ́ máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ sí executive governor kọ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé wọ́n tẹ̀ give a damn àrífín tẹ̀ tí wàá jọ̀jọ̀ pé association kan a máa dẹ́rù ba àwọn tó ń control region so lórí pé bóyá èèyàn fẹ́ gba àwọn southern governors wọ́n mọ ohun tó ń ṣe síbí gbogbo ìkọ̀kan náà ni wọ́n nǹkan tó máa tẹ̀fẹ̀ individual àwọn nínú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tó bá yẹ pé ìlú tó yẹ pé ìbò wa máa ń count pé àwa ìbò wa máa ń count gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí kò yẹ kó le tó yìí àwa la kàn ń wò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òwò epo lè tó ìjọba pé ìbò wa ló máa káùntì at the end of the day wọ́n kọ́ fi àwọn haúsá yẹn lẹ̀ yìí náà sódà sọ pé àwọn làwọn pọ̀ jù àwọn ní majority wọ́n sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ fún wọn wọn tó ti gbélé náà ni ẹ̀ bí àwọn tiwa yìí náà ló fà á kí Èkó máa ní 6 million ní over 30 million occupants ní Èkó wọ́n máa ní 6 million voters kí Kano òun ni àṣírí wọn ti tú lórí VAT if they cannot use that numbers tó lọ ní nílẹ̀ haúsá tí wọ́n lè convert ẹ̀ láti generate revenue ọlẹ́ẹ̀dí wọn tó yẹ pé àwọn tó wà àwọn tẹ́ pé minority owó wọn lẹ̀ yìí fi ń gbádùn níbi tó yẹ kọ́ tó bá ti dín yẹn wọ́n ti dín yẹn sìn ní awuyewuye yẹn tún pọ̀ díẹ̀ wọ́n lè ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní jẹ́rí láti sìn tí wọ́n fi di January ìgbésẹ̀ kan wọn máa jáde lẹ́sẹẹsẹ ìyẹn ló wọn máa dáyà já wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀ àwọn ti Yorùbá ìwé àkàjù náà ló máa ń jẹ́ ká ṣe ká máa ń bend ká máa ṣera wa ká máa jẹra wa lẹ́sẹ̀ àwọn tí Òkè Ọya wọn ò ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ẹ̀kọ́ bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ nínú wọn báyìí wọ́n máa dáwọ́ bò ní àdá ò fẹ́bọ̀ wọn.
ẹ jẹ́ ń gbé pásítọ̀ wọlé pásítọ̀ mo fẹ́ gbé yín wọlé bọ̀ kí n tó gbé yín wọlé barrister sọ nǹkan kan mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó má fún àwọn èèyàn wa tó ń fetí sí wa kó má rò pé báyà nǹkan tí barrister sọ pé báyà wọn ò rántí torí orí platform náà ni àti sú ẹ̀ tó mo fẹ́ kẹ́ gbọ́.
I just hear place spray blade in the front, gunshot in front of my house. Papa, Sunday Igboho come out. We are DSS, we are soldier, we are do this. So and now I peeped through in the window. I saw them with uniform, DSS uniform, and soldier, Nigerian army. So I was I was surprised that what is problem? Because I never kill anybody, I never fight with anybody. What I'm doing is to fight for my people. Then all the rally I'm doing is a peaceful rally. So I fight for my family because all the Fulani bandits kill my family, rape them, kidnap them, take ransom from them. So that I know some government refuse to do the right thing to my family. That's why I come out to support my family to fight for our rights. So I was surprised.
So you were in the house this morning when they came?
Yeah.
So we.
So ó confirm pé òun wà ní ilé nígbà tí wọ́n débẹ̀, and I just wanted to play that video so that just to be at a safe side where Barrister was saying that he actually confirmed he was there, and he confirmed that he had them and saw their uniform and he knew it was DSS before the battle started between him. And let's be clear, the DSS have not at any point stated that Sunday Igboho confronted them with any weapon. They said the people in Sunday Igboho's house. They never said him. So just to be clear. So that's all right, sir.
Yeah. Ibi tí ó tún yẹ kí a tún ti clear sí with interplay yẹn, because ó ní mo fẹ́ sọ in response to my barrister, but it's good tí ó jẹ́ pé play video yẹn. Now, ṣé ọlọ́pàá bí báyìí ṣé tí wọ́n bá lọ mú yàn pé wọ́n fẹ́ lọ arrest yàn àbí wọ́n fẹ́ lọ invite yàn, would they start shooting first before calling the person to come out? What Chief Falana said was that in fact, there is a likelihood they will have assassinated Sunday. One dem claim pé àwọn kọ́ làwọn lọ síbẹ̀. So anything only like my brother said, ẹni tí ó jẹ́ pé lè pè ó ní bí wọ́n ṣe invite yàn sọ pé kò wá. Now you went invade any. I mean, the case tí wọ́n gbé lọ sí court is the breach of his fundamental human rights, which includes his privacy.
Pastor,
so
ẹ má bínú, yes. Pastor, ẹ má bínú. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ṣe èmi, okay, I'm just I'm just the anchor. I don't command things here. I only ask questions like the devil's advocate. I get here. Nítorí pé ẹ sọ pé Sunday Igboho ó ní tí Sunday Igboho is on record on video tó ní pé tí wọ́n bá pé tí 1,000 ọlọ́pàá àbí sójà bá wá pé wọ́n tó gbé òun ọ̀dẹ̀ tí a dẹ̀ ti rí fídíò tó yẹ pé ó sọ fáwọn ọlọ́pàá tó ń challenge wọn pé who are you but mo fẹ́ play fídíò léyìí nítorí pé fáwọn èèyàn wa torí Sunday Igboho lóògùn ò lè ràn òun ó ní ìbọn ò lè ràn òun so mo kàn fẹ́ play fídíò ẹ má bínú mo kàn jẹ́ sáré play fídíò so that ẹ lè understand ibi tí Sunday Igboho ti come from ẹ get here so that káwọn èèyàn lè.
tí n bá fi kún tí n bá yọkù tí n bá fi parọ́ Ọlọ́run tí n bá fi kún tí n bá yọkù tí n bá fi parọ́ ó kèmí àti
Allahu Akbar.
ìgbà tí mo ń jagun lọ ní Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ tógun gbóná.
ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ tó lè lọ níta gbangba ni.
dáadáa
tọ
tí ogun gbóná
torí èyàn tí ń wò yín lọ́wọ́ báyìí wọ́n lé ní 1,000 yẹn o.
mo ń jagun lọ ní Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ tí ogun gbóná kí ni mo sọ fún yàrá tí ogun gbóná. wọ́n ń pè mí kan ní akarabata ní Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ tí wọ́n program ó pé confam. wọ́n ń pè mí kan ní AP wèrè kan wá gbó ń bẹ̀ olùgbà lórí. àwọn Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ wá sọ pé ó ń gbé ẹbọ bọ̀ ní gbòòrò Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ ó wá fèsì Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ ó ń rìn bọ̀ ẹnìkan bá sọ pé bọ̀bọ̀ tí wọ́n fi ẹbọ yẹn rán ló ń gbẹ́bọ ẹbọ yẹn gbogbo Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ bá rẹ̀ sí yin ìbọn sí pápá pàdàdàdà pópó pápá wọn náà lọ gbé Sunday Igboho wá ní wọ́n bá gbé mi dé ọ̀kadà mọ́mọ́ngùn má gbé ọ̀kadà mi dé gíìmù tí ń bọ́lẹ̀ lórí ọ̀kadà jìgà tí mo ń nà ẹbọ sí tàtà kọba mọ̀nà eléyìí dira pé mo tún gbé súnmọ́ kàkà kọba mo tún ní àyè pé n bọ̀ yà wọ́n ní àti gbé súnmọ́ close range láwà tátátátá mo ní ẹmọ́ ìbọn sí mọ́síkò gbogbo ẹ̀yẹn dúró dáwọ̀ bọ́ dúró ẹjọ́ lọ mú láàyè gbogbo ogun tó bá rí kó ní lónìí
tó tú Ọlọ́run
bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pé gbólóhùn wá mọ́fọ̀ bọ́nú báwọn ìyá mi ń bọ̀ wọ́n ní ìlànà pé bá ọ̀dọ̀ yẹn àbá àmọ́ wà
ẹ má pè lónìí bá
bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pé bá máa rìn lọ bí mo ṣe ń rìn lọ yẹn àwọn fẹ́ yìnbọn sí mi náà tátátá mo fẹ́ pàdé bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn nígbà tí ń pàdé àṣewèrè.
Inna lillahi.
tí n bù tó ní yín mọ́ wèrè rẹ̀.
ẹni tẹ́ gbogbo yín ti yìnbọn sí látà.
zombi bá mi wá bá mo dọ́dọ̀ àyẹn wèrè nígbà tá a tún àkísà.
Allahu Akbar.
wèrè gidi wèrè yẹn bẹ Mọ̀dákẹ́kẹ́ dọ̀la wèrè gidi.
Allahu Akbar.
Ọlọ́run wa bà mí pé sọ gbogbo ogun tá a dé mọ́ra yìí àsọlọ́n pòwe fún wa ní.
ẹ̀gbọ́n tọ́lọ̀ ń wí ni Ọlọ́run ní kullan yusibana illa ma kataba Allahu lana wa maulana wa ala Allahi falyatawakkalil mutawakkil. Ọlọ́run lèmi Ọlọ́run kullan yusibana illa ma kataba Allahu lana wa maulana. Ọlọ́run ní nǹkan kan ò lè ṣẹlẹ̀ sẹ́dá àfi tọ́lọ̀ ń bá kọ́.
wàláì mo tí mo ń bẹ tí mo ń lọ yẹn o wèrè yẹn ìbọn ọba àwa lọ mo wá mú láàyè dé ìgbà tí mo wá mú gbogbo àwa rí i pé wèrè ni ẹ̀rọ Ọlọ́run bà mí.
Allah.
mo wá délé mo wá jókòó pé Ọlọ́mọ tóbi lọ́ba o.
ọba tó bò háyà.
so gbogbo ìgbàdí mi gbogbo olóńdè mi tí mo dè mọ́ra yìí so Ọlọ́run ló ń dáàbò bò mí sá.
àṣé kò nítumọ̀.
àṣé kò nítumọ̀ kankan wájú.
so pastor wọn kà yóò dé olóńdè ẹ̀yin ò ń dé òǹdè tí yín torí bible ẹ̀yin gbé bible ẹ̀yin gbé dòǹdè but ẹ ti gbọ́ tó ti boast pé wọ́n ti yìnbọn lòun ti yìnbọn lu àwọn èèyàn so tí as a security man tí tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe analysis ibi tá a ti fẹ́ lọ raid àwọn èèyàn a máa wo nǹkan tó ti sọ in the past a máa compare pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó ti sọ in the present ìyẹn la fi máa decide tá a fẹ́ lọ mú ẹ lè lọ bá Osama bin Laden kẹ máa mú tẹ́sà dání pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ gbé Osama bin Laden ẹ tó bá dánrú ẹ̀ wò àbọ̀rà bọ̀ lásọ so you prepare to the level of security preparedness of the person tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ bá so that might be the reason for the way in which they approach it. I'm only just saying but he has said it and is on video for saying it so ẹ conclude ọ̀rọ̀ yín kí tó lọ padà sí ọ̀dọ̀
Olótù.
bẹ́ẹ̀ sà.
Now ẹni tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ lọ ṣebí torí ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ṣe kọ́ àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n ti kọ́ nípa ìbọn àti nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe kó wọn dání.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sir.
But ṣé tí ẹ bá fẹ́ lọ raid ilé àwọn èèyàn, even as a security person, do you just get there and start shooting and then you call the person to come out? Ó ní wọ́n fi sọ still bring it back irú tí court ń sìn tí wọ́n award Sunday ní pé wọ́n violate fundamental human rights, which included his privacy. Ilé wọ́n invaded ni in tó wà nù kíní nìyẹn. His house was invaded unlawfully and illegally. So whether ẹ pé ó sọ̀rọ̀ whatever, I mean, how many people ló ti sọ̀rọ̀ all over the country, including in the north and co. So wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ṣe even there were àwọn ẹ̀ẹ́tì àlàtí wọ́n sọ present pé tẹ bá bá nù kíní ní Ondo State o a máa fa wàhálà a máa ṣe kíní kan ni. Wọn ò ṣe wá lọ kún sọ pé òkè ó yá ẹjẹ́ lọ bá ẹni tó jẹ́ chairman wọn ká lọ rédí ilé ẹ̀ ó láti jẹ́ pé wọ́n nípa àti wọ́n ní kíní nìyẹn. So títàpá ti Sunday Igboho nìyẹn wípé what we've been saying, many other legal persons have said it, not necessarily even people that tí wọ́n agree pẹ̀lú tí Sunday ṣe, but when it comes to that action of the DSS, they've taken it as an invasion. It's against his fundamental human rights.
Okay.
Now, back to ọ̀rọ̀ títí Jagaban àti Southwest. Yes. Ẹni tó bá wo Jagaban, mi rò pé anybody máa lè sọ wípé kì í ṣe olóṣèlú tí wọ́n ní ògbóǹtarìgì. And tó jẹ́ expert at what he does. Bí Barrister dẹ̀ ṣe sọ, ẹ máa rí how he pick people tí ó dẹ̀ máa build wọn. However, wọ́n ní èèyàn lè dá kó mọ́ kù sí ibì kan. But ibì kan téèyàn bá wá kù sí, kí bẹ́ẹ̀ wá má jẹ́ pé tó jẹ́ kó máa fẹ́ bo gbogbo dídá téèyàn dá tó wá fẹ́ bo gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ tán. Àwọn masses, apart from àwọn infrastructure pé okay bóyá wọ́n ṣe títì wọ́n ṣe bridge and co, àwọn tó ń complain pa Jagaban jù, they are the masses, not actually even àwọn politicians wọ́n jọ wà ní rank wọn. They are the masses. So káwá tún wá mú lọ sí I know he's also a businessman. I mean, Edema expect when to buy a businessman, ó yẹ kó wà astute, ó yẹ kó wà very intelligent, which he is. And that brings down to bóyá wọ́n gba taxi àbí nǹkan kan ní Èkó, wọ́n gbà ní Oyo State when Adeyemi was there. Then I think bóyá Èkìtì or so tí ó jẹ́ pé ó ti ń gba kíní táwọn ẹ̀rí sọ pé no, wọ́n láti jẹ́ company tí ó wà lọ́dọ̀ àwọn náà ló yẹ kó díẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. So I believe that is contender ni tí wọ́n bá sọ pé South láti máa mú president yìí o, Tinubu is a contender. But tẹ́ bá béèrè pé will I vote for him, I will say no. And that's just based on what I've said. Pé yes, whatever he does is expert on it, but when it comes to actually the masses benefiting from all his actions, from my own view, other people might have other views. From my own view, I don't see that that benefit actually to the masses. So, and like my other brother, Timonso, Tebagbe South, àwọn ní South, níbi tá a pín South sí, àwọn tí ò tí jẹ president rí, wọ́n wà níbẹ̀. Southwest lọ́dọ̀ wa ti jẹ rí, ní màpá bí tí Jonathan ti wá. So we might have the other ones táwọn sọ pé okay, just like bí South náà ṣe ń sọ pé okay, not ẹ̀yin ti ṣe tí ní o, ọ̀dọ̀ wa ló kù o. Within the South, àwọn náà lè máa sọ pé okay, Southwest ẹ̀yin Yorùbá, ẹ máa ti ṣe, Ọbásanjọ́ ẹ ti ṣe o. Ti side ibi tí Goodluck ti wá, Goodluck Jonathan ti tọ̀dọ̀ yẹn ti ṣe, ó kù side B àti ó kù side B. So it might actually not even come round to ọ̀dọ̀ wa at all. But whatever it will be, I think ní in tí àwọn èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ nísìnyí, I think ojú gbogbo wa ti já àti rìn káàkiri. So ibi tá a dé nísìnyí, ìbò tí a bá máa dì kí àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ sì kọ́ o, dìbò kó ṣe bẹ̀ kọ́ o because ọbẹ̀ tẹ́ ti ṣe láti 4 years ago ẹ ti gbàgbọ́ ẹ̀ báyìí so à ń láti wá ẹni tí a mọ̀ pé ó jẹ́ in fact ẹni tí ó jẹ́ páwọn mẹ̀kúnnù jẹ lọ́kàn because irú àwọn nǹkan báyìí ni wọ́n fi lè identify lè fa irú somebody like Chief Obafemi Awolowo jáde ẹni tó jẹ́ pé àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù the masses tí wọ́n jẹ́ pé wọ́n mú lọ́kàn. That's the sort of person that we want. Okay. However, àwa tún máa sọ wípé tá a bá fẹ́ yanjú gbogbo ẹ̀ tán àwa tí à ń support Yorùbá referendum committee òun dẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti rọra bí wọ́n ṣe rọra ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ẹ̀mẹ̀pọ̀rọ̀ VAT ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pé state ló gbọ́dọ̀ fa gba VAT ọ̀rọ̀ ti tàmọ̀tẹ́kùn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ pé àmọ̀tẹ́kùn kí àwọn state and co wọ́n ní security wọn àwọn eléyìí náà ní tiwọn. So ultimately àwọn nǹkan yẹn ti ń fojú hàn federal government ń fight ẹ̀ but then it's still on but ultimately tí a bá fẹ́ wá yanjú gbogbo ẹ̀ which is àwọn templates táwa ń gbé jáde ni pé ẹ jẹ́ kí àwa tí a jẹ́ Yorùbá ẹ jẹ́ ká ní abala títí wa ẹni tí a bá yàn ká fi ránṣẹ́ sókè lọ́hùn tí wọ́n bá ṣe rotation lọ́hùn títí wọn nìyẹn wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe presidency kò sí ètò kan wá pé àwa ná so much money àbí àwa ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń gbé Jagaban lọ sílẹ̀ Haúsá tàbí lọ lẹ̀ Yíbò àbí nǹkan kan tó bá jẹ́ pé Jagaban àwa fẹ́ fà sílẹ̀ àti Yorùbá tí a dẹ̀ ní Yorùbá region tiwa tí a ní our home police tí a ń dì pẹ̀lú our own economic situation policies education health tó bá jẹ́ Jagaban la mú okay a máa fi sí ránṣẹ́ sí central owó tá a bá dẹ̀ pa aládọ̀ wa a máa mú percentage díẹ̀ ńbẹ̀ a fi ránṣẹ́ sí central kó wọ́n máa fi rọ́ọ̀nù presidency àti military àti àwọn other things ìyẹn ló máa yanjú ẹ̀ ní òní di pé à ń jà à ń fa nǹkan mọ́ra wa lọ́wọ́ débi pé owó tá à ń ná gan ní anytime tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe election ní 2023 nsìn owó tá a máa ná is going to run to billions.
Okay.
àwọn owó ìdẹ́ni if we can save those money a lè lò fáwọn masses láti fi ṣe gbogbo àwọn hospital wa gbogbo nǹkan kan. So ibi tí èmi rí sí nìyẹn olótú the south tí wọ́n bá mọ̀ pé yes ọgbẹ́ gbà south ẹni tí ó lè ṣe.
No problem. ẹ jẹ́ kí n torí we are going now with more or less we've spoken so much but mo fẹ́ ká fi just 30 seconds mo dẹ̀ máa.
The bandits that have been killing people recklessly, you don't have to waste time to kill them. Identify the bandits that have been killing people recklessly. You don't have to waste time to kill them. And I'm sure some of you are of that. Then you start talking about human rights. Which right? What of the right of the people that were killed? Small children, women raped by these people. And then when the Nigerian army stands up to them, and then they kill our soldiers, ambush them, put AIDs or whatever to blow them off, and then now you start asking me questions about their human rights. This is very unfortunate. I must say it. So what do you want the military to do? Not to do the fight? Not to have casualties in the course of the fight? Honestly, you know you are my friends, but I'm blunt. One of the major problems in this country is the press. I'm sure, I swear, you people are not helping. Instead of playing the angel, you play the devil. It doesn't help. It doesn't help us. Why don't you play the angel? We are fighting this war. I don't know whether you are from the Northwest. But you know how these people have made life. To me, if we can identify the bandits that have been killing people recklessly, you don't have to waste time to kill them.
Shikeno. So he said it. He said you don't have to waste time to kill the bandits. The people, if you know the bandits, you know them. You don't have to waste time. So let me use this opportunity to thank, Barrister. Thank you so much for the opportunity for coming on board. I really appreciate it. Let me thank Mr. Babajide. Thank you so much for the time, for spending with us. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Let me also thank Pastor for coming on board. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. At this point, I think we're going to call it a night, because I think we spent enough time. We've actually spent a lot of time looking at this issue and debating it. We're back again.
You're most welcome.
We're back again next time, same time, on Saturday next week. Until then, let me say thank you so much, everyone, for giving us your time and giving us and listening to us. Please leave your message, your comments for us, and the Lord continue to bless you, increase you in every way. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really, really appreciate you.